elected officials to our country. I was a mayor of the city of Burlington, Vermont, the largest city in the state, for 8 years. I was in Congress for 16 years, and I've been in the Senate now for 9 years. And I know, as you do, that public service is not an easy task, that it has an impact on your families, on your kids, and that sometimes to get elected, you have to deal with horrendous, ugly advertising and comments about you, and it's not a pleasant experience. But what you understand is that for a democracy to survive, we need serious people running for office, discussing serious issues, and I thank you very much for your willingness to do that. Today I want to talk about two major issues facing our country. And the first is the need for comprehensive immigration reform. It is not acceptable to me, and I think a growing majority of the American people, that millions of folks in this country are working extremely hard, but they are living in the shadows, and that has got to end. And the second issue that I want to touch on is that we need an economy today which benefits all of our people, the middle class, working families, lower income people, and not just a handful of billionaires. It is no great secret that across the United States, undocumented workers perform a critical role in our economy. They harvest and process our food, and it is no exaggeration to say that without them, food production and agriculture in this country would significantly decline. Undocumented workers build many of our homes, they cook our meals, they maintain our landscapes. We even entrust undocumented workers with that which we hold most dear, the well-being of our children. Despite the central role that undocumented workers play in our economy and in our daily lives, these workers are too often reviled by many for political gain and shunted into the shadows. Let me be very clear as to where I stand. It is time for this disgraceful situation to end. This country faces enormous problems, and they will not be solved unless we are united. It is time to end the politics of division in this country, of politicians playing one group of people off against another group, whether it is white against black, male against female, straight against gay, or native-born against immigrant. That division has got to end. And that is why I supported the 2013 comprehensive immigration reform legislation in the U.S. Senate. While a complicated piece of comprehensive legislation like this can always be improved, and this legislation can be improved, I believe then and I believe now that it is time to end the discussion of quote-unquote mass deportation or quote-unquote self-deportation. We cannot and we should not be talking about sweeping up millions of men, women, and children, many of whom have been in this country for years, and we cannot allow a continuation of this discussion or these ideas that suddenly we're going to throw millions of people out of this country. That is wrong, and that type of discussion must end now. Soon we finally pass comprehensive reform, and I would very much like to see the House of Representatives pick up where the Senate left off. We must be aggressive in pursuing policies that are humane and sensible and that keep families together. This includes taking measures that are currently available, including reforms through executive action. I strongly support the administration's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. DACA is a good first step, but should be expanded. Deferred action should include the parents of citizens, parents of legal permanent residents, and the parents of dreamers. It makes common sense to me, and I think all people of goodwill, that we should be pursuing policies that unite families, not tear them apart. I continue to be a strong supporter of the DREAM Act, which would offer the opportunity of permanent residency and eventual citizenship to young people who are brought to the United States as children. It is my belief that we should recognize the young men and women who comprise the Dreamers for what they are, American kids who deserve the right to legally be in the country they know as home. As has often been stated, we are a nation of immigrants. That is, in fact, the strength of America. For generations, families braved treacherous paths, often fleeing unspeakable poverty and violence and prejudice in search of better futures, for better lives for their kids. I myself am the son of an immigrant. My dad came to this country from Poland at the age of 17 without a nickel in his pocket and without much of an education. Like immigrants before and since, he worked hard to give his family a better life here in the